All right, everybody. Jump into the floor plan stuff. I kind of went through all this stuff ahead of time, so you guys didn't have to sit there and watch me write. Um, this is the same list that's on the assignment sheet. So if you go into the assignments, there's the PDF with all the breakdown of program requirements. I also wrote them out here with square footages and kind of some other stuff that is required. Um, so the main entry is essentially two doors going into the building. So it's like an airlock. You have the one set of doors, and then 7 feet behind it, you'll have another set. So the only requirement there is a minimum 7 feet between the two doors. The next one is the lobby space. That'll be 200 to 400 square feet. So that's kind of the main area when you kind of walk in. Figure there's probably going to be like a help desk and some seating in there. The next one is the ticket info / like selling station. That can be either an office with a counter or just a counter. You could do an automated system if you want to get fancy with it. That'll be 100 square feet to 250 square feet. Next one is the vending or like little food shop, if that makes sense. So like you go to a lot of places and there's like a little desk with like a kind of a open refrigerator with sandwiches and things like that in it. Somebody's running it. You can have one of those, or you can just have a vending machine. That area, like kind of a seating area to eat lunch, have a quick snack before you hop on the train, all that stuff. So that'll be 100 square feet to 200 square feet. So these ranges, as long as you're kind of within those or close to them, obviously a building's not going to be perfect. Like you're not going to have an exact 100 square foot room with another all the adjoining rooms. So I give you a range with these to make sure you kind of hit that mark. The next one is the maintenance / storage area. So this is kind of like the janitor's closet. So it can be kind of small. So 50 square feet to 150 square feet. Also include a mop sink and some shelves in there. Things you typically find in a janitor's closet. The next two are restrooms. So the first one is a women's restroom. You'll need a minimum of 2 stalls, 2 sinks. That'll be 150 square feet to 300 square feet. I won't make you get into like all the ADA accessible aspects of this project, but just think about a typical bathroom that you see at like LCC or somewhere like that. You have your turning radius and they're a little bit bigger. So same thing will go for the men's. You have one stall and one urinal. Same square footage, 150 to 300 square feet. Then the next one is the employee restroom. So you'll have one toilet, and that'll be 50 square feet to 80 square feet. Typically, kind of an ADA stall is like, or a restroom I should say, is 7 foot by 7 foot, give or take. So if you kind of use that as a base dimension, you're going to be minimum like 49 square feet. So kind of right at that mark, and then you can go a little bit bigger if you want to get fancier, have a changing table, things like that in there. Next one is the mechanical room. This doesn't have to be a huge room, but show your furnace, water heater. Can be anywhere from 100 to 200 square feet. The employee lounge, show a little kitchenette, maybe some tables, seating for employees to hang out at. Could have a couch, TV, things like that. That'll be 100 to 150 square feet. Employee lockers, show 10 lockers. That'll be 100 square feet to 200 square feet. The outdoor ticket station, you can either connect that to your existing ticket area, if that's on the outside. If it's not, you can either do a separate window with another little selling station, or automated kiosk, automated window ticket selling station. And then the last two is your arrival departure platform, which you guys kind of figured out roughly on your site plan. And P is just a warning track, basically the space between your platform and the tracks. So, quick overview there. Hopefully I didn't go too fast for you guys. Yeah, I typically write these out kind of as I go, but I mean, hopefully you guys enjoy the extra 20 minutes that it took me to get all that together for you. So really, for Thursday, and this is kind of where we catch up to where we're supposed to be at here. If we take all of these and create a bubble diagram, so essentially what you're doing is you're going through here trying to figure out how these all relate to each other. So I'm going to do a quick layout here. I'm just going to do kind of a basic shape of a building. Obviously you guys can kind of create whatever shape you want and kind of fill in from there. And these you don't have to have your square feet in here yet. You'll do like 3 or 4 renditions of your floor plan to get to where you need to be. So what I'm going to end up doing here is I'm just going to show, we'll just show the main, I'm going to switch pens here. Show the main vestibule. We'll just show that here, and I'm just going to put A. Then I'm just going to go over here, throw a check mark on A. Obviously you want the main entry walking into your lobby, so I'm going to show that lobby here. A little bit bigger here. So I'm going to try to keep employee type stuff here on to the left, and then kind of public stuff to the right. So let me give a check there. Get a little darker. So ticket info, I'm going to throw the ticket window here. Throw your vending area over here. I think what I'm going to do is have the train station, or the flow through the building is going to go kind of through here like this. So I'm just going to kind of skip a little bit here and do let's throw that arrival platform, and then we'll do that warning track right there. So check those off. Okay, and then going backwards a little bit more. That outside, I'm gonna combine this here. So I'm gonna just add a little window here. Throw M. Even if it's automated, this way they can reload it and deal with it from the back. Okay, so now going back to E, our maintenance storage, I'm going to throw that, I'm going to actually throw that kind of back here. Women's and men's restrooms. I think I'm going to throw, and like I said, don't pay attention to your square footages yet. I mean, a little bit, like if you can kind of rough it in, that's fine. But don't get hung up on trying to make them perfect, if that makes sense. So I'm going to do a mechanical room here, and then this area is going to be K, K, H, and L. I actually might flip those. There. Okay, so now that basically takes care of our program requirements. So what you're trying to do with this is get a good relationship of how where these spaces go. It really doesn't make sense to put your employee lockers, on this side behind the vending area. This is not like a perfect layout. There's in architecture, there's never 100% correct answer. So just remember that. The mechanical room here, there's a couple advantages to having it to the outside wall. You can run a lot of your stuff right out the wall. The downside is you have to take all of your stuff, all of your heat, AC, and go from this side of the building all the way across the building. So sometimes it makes sense to keep that in the center. Totally up to you guys. The lobby does not have to be a giant square like this. You could have an L shape, you could have a curve, you could do whatever you guys want. So this is basically just kind of figuring out that relationship. So do a couple of these first, so like one or two of these. Some of you may have a pretty good idea of what you want. And once you get this roughed in, what I like to do is go back into here, figure out roughly what you're trying to do. Like, so I want this lobby, pretty big. So what I'm going to do is take the square root of let me see here. So square root of 400. So it's a pretty easy one. 20. It's 20 times 20. So as long if we want to stay with that 400, this is going to end up being 20 foot by 20 foot, or thereof. So an L shape, it could be like 10 foot here, 20 foot here, and 30 foot here. So if you look at it this way, that's your 400 square feet. It doesn't have to be perfect. It could be 35 feet, or if you have a dimension, just take that dimension divided by 400, and then you'll get the other dimension. And you'll want to go through and do that to all of these, and that way you kind of get a rough scale. Some people can get this right away. What I typically recommend, at least to start out, if you don't really know sizes, is I would kind of create these squares to get some rough size estimates, if that makes sense. So this one, kind of figure out a scale. Like, I would do 1/4 inch probably just to start. So if you do 20 foot by 20 foot, cut out a paper square that's 20 foot by 20 foot. Then you can take those paper squares, move them around, kind of figure out the layout you want, and see the size comparisons. This is kind of the design part is a little bit tricky, just because there's no real right or wrong answer, and it's kind of hard to get some of these rooms to kind of fit together. It's kind of like a jigsaw puzzle, if that makes sense. Like you're trying to get, if you're 300 square feet or 150 square feet, that's a 10 by 15 room on the low end, or you could do, I don't know, 20 by 15, whatever you guys want shape wise, you can throw it on there. The other thing you could do is just draw it out and scale, and kind of keep going that way. That way, rough idea. With pencil, you know, you can go through, start drawing those blocks until you kind of get a rough idea and a rough shape. That way it's a pretty good idea of what you're kind of looking at. So I guess I forgot to add this up a minute ago. So on the high end, let's just run these down real quick. So on the low end, we got 200, 100, 100, 50, 150, 150, 50, 100, 100, yeah, okay. And on the high side, we have 400, 250, 200, 150, 300, 300, 80, 200, 150, 200. Okay, so I'm gonna add those up real quick. So 200, 100, okay, so the small side, you're really looking at an 1,100 square foot building. It's pretty small. That's 250, that's 200, 150, 300, 300, 80, 200, 150. So on the high side, you're looking at 230 square feet. So not huge buildings. And I'm not like, you know, if you're a little off on that, I'm not too worried about it. But don't be, you know, don't make your building 4,000 square feet. It's just going to make it harder in the long run to get everything to fit. Trying to think of anything else. So sorry, I keep getting distracted. My dogs are trying to come over and hang out. Yeah, so I guess the main thing, get your bubble diagram laid out, and then at least have your room sizes kind of figure it out for Thursday. So when I say that, like when you're kind of finalizing your bubble diagram, you want to have everything roughly to scale, and then just like quickly dimension it. So you know, this like throw 20 foot, 20 feet, boom, boom, and then kind of do that to all your rooms, and then that way they're all roughly to scale. Then we can get into throwing your walls in. The final assignment or final project is going to have all of your walls. It's going to have your flooring materials, your furniture, people, a little bit of the exterior stuff just to kind of give it a little scale. I think that's about it. I mean, when I say furniture and like entourage type stuff, like that's, you're gonna have your stalls, your toilets, like counters, anything like that. So basically, if you cut the building, you know, a floor plan typically is cut at 4 feet. So if you just take a building and just cut it at 4 feet across, and look down into it, you're gonna see everything that's below that 4 foot line. Um, so yeah, it shouldn't be too bad. Um, if you guys have an idea with your building, like you want to do some crazy, huge vestibule entryway or something like that, let me know, and then I can help adjust this a little bit, but I typically try to recommend people staying within these parameters. That way, um, your building doesn't get too out of control. Um, you'll end up kind of finalizing this building and the shape, and then essentially redoing your site plan, which hopefully all of you are turning in today. I kind of waited a little bit to do this lecture just because hopefully you guys put like all of your effort into that. But yeah, so Thursday, basically your basic building layout, have that all completed. Have all your rooms to size, roughly to size. Kind of go from there. I guess, sorry, one last hint. You could always, if you have a rough building shape that you'd like to kind of fill in, you can always take these numbers and kind of work backwards. So assign your outside walls to 2,200 square feet or whatever, and then you can kind of infill from there, and all of your rooms should fit. So yeah, kind of a short lecture. Hopefully I shortened it for you guys by kind of doing all this stuff ahead of time. Let me know if there's any questions. I guess what I'd like to see is if you guys want to shoot me a text or just throw an upload on D2L of kind of where you're going with this, like tomorrow, or even if it's on Thursday, that's fine. I'll try to get you guys some comments back on it, just so you're in kind of the right direction. Thursday, I'm going to go over some of the wall stuff, so you guys can kind of get all your walls laid out over the weekend, and then next Tuesday, I'm going to get into like doing all the hatching and getting all that stuff kind of wrapped up. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Like I said, this is kind of a relatively short one. It's a relatively easy assignment, but it is time consuming, especially kind of getting your connections and your sizes down. So make sure you start on it sooner than later. All right. I'm gonna let you guys go. Have a good night.